For my Indigenizing place assignment, I chose the upper Vedder River, which is in Chilliwack, BC. I chose this location because I feel like I can unplug from the modern world and just get away into nature whenever I go there. Parts of this river are very secluded, and some of the spots I go fishing in take about an hour to hike into. When you actually reach the river, you're surrounded by huge mountains, clear waters, and amazing wildlife like eagles, bears, deer, and sometimes even seals that come in from the Fraser River. There's something so amazing when you get away from the city, and the only sound you can hear is the river's current. I specifically chose this location for this assignment because I wanted to learn more about the land and the first peoples who first inhabited it and used it as a resource for possibly fishing. The picture I've included for my location is of me fishing on the Vedder River for steelhead in December. This is when they're most abundant and spawning from the ocean. For some background about why I go to the Vedder River and the types of fish I'm trying to catch, steelhead are known as the fish of 1,000 casts because they are so hard to catch, and many fishermen go years before landing their first one. You'll see a little bit further. I've also included a video for my Indigenizing pleasure assignment, and this is from last year in, I believe, January, and this is when I landed my first steelhead, so pretty exciting moment for myself. After doing research on the area, some of the indigenous history that I learned about the Vedder River in Chilliwack is that it is located on the land of the Stolo, which are a group of First Nations peoples inhabiting the Fraser Valley and Lower Fraser Canyon of British Columbia, Canada. There is continuous record of occupation of Stolo by indigenous peoples dating back 5 to 10,000 years ago. Archaeological evidence from the early period has been found throughout the region, including sites at Stave Lake, Coquitlam Lake, and Fort Langley. The language traditionally spoken by the Stolo peoples is Halkomelem, which translates to the upper river dialect of Halkomayam. Halkomayam is primarily spoken in Harrison Lake, Lower Fraser Canyon, and the upper and central Fraser Valley, where the Vedder River is actually located. Stolo is a Halkomayam word for river, so the Stolo are referred to as the river people. Remains of campsites show the Stolo people settled first near the mouth of the Fraser River, but moved east into other river systems such as the Vedder River in the spring and early summer to hunt land and sea mammals. Some of the animals they hunted and went after were deer, elk, and seal, and to a lesser extent to fish for salmon, sturgeon, and gather shellfish. Their lives depended on their success at harvesting and the resources of the land and the river throughout fishing, foraging, and hunting. Another very interesting thing I learned about the Stolo is they perform salmon ceremonies, which I kind of found cool to my connection because I go fishing in the area as well. So salmon was the preferred food for the Stolo, and it was seen as superior to other types of meat. The first salmon ceremony was held when the first salmon or the first catch were brought back from the river. It was then shared with either the entire community or more privately in a family setting. After the salmon meat was eaten, the bones of the fish were then returned to the river. This was to show respect to the salmon people. If the ceremony was not performed and the fish not shared, it was said that the fisher would experience bad luck for the rest of the year, and the salmon run may not be as strong for that year. I feel like after doing research and getting some indigenous knowledge on the area that I regularly use for my own enjoyment as a place to get away, it gave me more of an appreciation for its true beauty. I feel a greater sense of connection to the area and especially to the fishing I do in it. It's amazing to think back in time and picture the Stolo peoples using this river as a main resource for food, and I feel a sense of honor and pride that I can continue on this tradition of fishing this river as a resource for food. I found this activity to be very rewarding, as I had no past knowledge of the Stolo peoples and just how vast of an area of the Fraser Valley that their lands extended across. I currently live in Langley, BC, and this is an area of BC and the Fraser Valley that the Stolo peoples also inhabited, so I kind of feel a greater connection and appreciation that I gained this new knowledge about this tribe of people.